Number 11 on this list has to be Snowshoe, West Virginia. It's going to give you a big mountain feel, but with small mountain vibes and all in a really fun and inviting package. It offers a lot of fun terrain, it's got a really nice village. They also get a lot of real snow. The weather up there is kind of wild, so you do have a chance to actually get powder days, which on the East Coast is not likely. And they offer night riding as well in the Silver Creek section. You've got a lot of different areas to ride, and I think the terrain is really great. Number 10 on this list for me is Keystone, Colorado. Now, I haven't been with the best conditions. I've gone early season and then later in January when they're having a rough snow year, so it was really icy. But they do have some fun runs. They've got an awesome small village. While you're in the village, definitely get a crepe. They're amazing. They have great terrain. They do have bowl runs, some hikeable terrain, but it is always crowded. Also, I really like the terrain progression at Keystone as the mountains get progressively steeper as you work your way back, which makes it really great to progress your riding into that steeper terrain, as well as keep the more beginners and advanced riders a little bit separated so you don't have so much traffic. Number 9 for me is A Basin. Again, I went early season, so the whole mountain wasn't open, but they did have one top to bottom run. I would love to come back and see the full mountain. It feels like it gives you a local, like mom and pop resort vibes instead of being like a big corporate resort. It's got incredible views, as well as it's the highest elevation resort in Colorado. So snowboarding from the very top to the bottom is just a really cool, epic experience to me and a run that I'll never forget. Number 8 for me is Breckenridge. It's a place we've been several times now. It's a really fun town. It's got tons of terrain and runs and every type of terrain you could really want. Even some high alpine type terrain, which is really cool to see. It can get crowded, but if you use the app, kind of watch those lift times, you can find some areas that give a little bit more seclusion and keep the crowds lower for you. So definitely use the app to track those wait times while you're there, and I think you're going to have a really great day. It also has enough in the town. I think it's a great place if you have non-skiers with you. My wife had a great time exploring the town and doing some things while we were out on the mountain. It gave her plenty to do as well. Now, this is one that could definitely move higher up on the list if I went and did get to ride a legendary powder day, but Vail has all types of terrain. It's got the back bowls, which are definitely the highlight, the Blue Sky Basin area, which is incredible, and it's got a massive, massive village. I think it has tons to do if you're a snowboarder or non-snowboarder in your party. They're going to be perfectly entertained in this huge village. It can get really, really crowded at Vail, so definitely don't go on a weekend if you can avoid it. Monday through Thursday is going to be your best bet, and it's one I really, really would like to go back to. Out of all of them on this list, it's definitely high on my priorities to go back to and be able to get a powder day and experience those legendary back bowls the way they were meant to be ridden. Next on the list is Beaver Creek. Now, when we went to Beaver Creek, we actually took that trip to spend more time at Vail, but we love Beaver Creek so much, we spent more time at it than Vail. It has lower crowds, it's got tons of options to get into the trees, great pine tree runs, aspen tree runs. They even have the whole McCoy Park section, which is great for getting you into tree riding. It's a beginner-friendly, like tree riding section, so it's a really good time. It also has an escalator that you get to ride up to the slopes. No other ski resort has something like that, so I thought it was pretty cool. As well as cookie time. Every day, 3 o'clock, they're pumping out chocolate chip cookies, and they just pass them out to everybody on the slopes. Definitely get one. They're some of the best chocolate chip cookies I've ever had. Number 5 for me is Snowbird. It has the steepest, gnarliest runs I think you're going to find in Utah. It's got a tram to the top. You get the chance to experience the Peruvian Tunnel. It also has one of the highest snow totals in the U.S. The Mineral Basin area is one of the best sections of riding I've ever had. And definitely if I went back to Snowbird, that would be where I'd pretty much spend my whole day. And it can be a little bit more crowded than some of the other Utah resorts we visited, but I think it's definitely worth checking out. It's one I'd like to go back to again and get great snow conditions. By the time we went, it was all tracked out, but I would love to go to Snowbird on a powder day and see what it's really like. Also, if you are going to Snowbird, just be cautious. It can be a little bit trickier to get to because of the avalanche work that they do on the Cottonwood Canyons. So definitely make sure you have all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, snow tires, and just watch road status updates as well to make sure you can get there safely and on time. Number 4 for me is Brighton. I think it's just a free ride playground. It's a snowboarder and skier's dream, full of side hits galore. Last year, it also had the highest snow total within the U.S. It had lower crowds than some of the other resorts that I've been to, and it offers night riding. We had an absolute blast at Brighton. We got the beginning of a massive powder dump there, so we got to ride it in the beginning. Unfortunately, the roads were so filled with snow, we didn't get to go back the other days that there were powder days, but fantastic resort, one of my favorites I've been to, and I would drop everything and go back in a heartbeat. Just a really fun time and a great place to progress your riding, especially if you're into more free ride oriented terrain. Number 3 on this list is Jackson Hole, and it's one that could easily be moved up to the number 1 spot. It's just an awesome town and resort. It's got the gnarliest terrain in all of North America, and that's what it's known for, but it's got tons of really fun, steep runs, and the snow here is so wild. It's the lightest snow I've ever seen. It literally looks like glitter floating in the air while you're riding. The runs are super wide, there's tons of big mountain terrain, and I hope to one day get a legendary powder day. There's nowhere else on this list that I want powder and to experience a powder day than Jackson Hole. Also, while you're there, make sure you get a mountaintop waffle at Corbett's Cabin. Even if you can't snowboard or ski the terrain down, you can take the tram up, get yourself a waffle, and ride it back down. Definitely check out Jackson Hole, Wyoming. If you are interested in going to Jackson, I will have a video of it on how to go on a budget, link in the description, as well as I'll have all my gear, hotels, lodging to any of these resorts linked down in the description below. Definitely check them out. They are affiliate links, but it's going to help you and help support the channel, so I'd really appreciate it. Number 2 on the list is Solitude, Utah. It has low crowds, amazing snow and tree runs, and with those lower crowds, it helps keep that powder fresh pretty much all day. We got 2 big dumps of 20-inch powder days while we were there. It was the coolest experience ever. I will never forget the riding from those days. And then the great thing with those lower crowds was that snow didn't get tracked out, and we had powder runs the entire time we were there. It has a good mix of terrain, awesome tree runs, tons of more wide open things, and it has just a little bit of everything. It's in a slightly smaller package, and this could easily... I went back and forth on this one, which was number 1, because the riding here was just top notch. The Utah snow is awesome, and Solitude was by far my favorite out of all the Utah resorts. Now, number 1 for me on this list has to be Whistler Blackcomb. It has the most terrain in North America. You're basically getting 2 mountains for the price of 1. The village is gigantic. We go here all the time. It's our favorite vacation spot. My wife has plenty to do while I'm on the mountain, and there's tons to do after the mountain closes and we're back in the village together. It's got tree runs for days, the longest snowboard runs you can think of, like a fully top to bottom Whistler run, I think can run you 45 minutes to an hour of just constant descending if you go all the way down and are playing through the trees. It's my favorite place we've ever been, and I love it. The only bad thing I can knock it for is it can get crowded, but what we found was if we utilized the lifts that weren't as often ridden, we could pretty much get the same terrain and not have to wait as long. So if we saw a lift that was crowded, there's so many chairlifts here, we would just ski down to the next one and we'd pretty much hop on and take back up. I definitely want to get back to Whistler because it's amazing. Simply put, it's amazing. So what'd you think? Would you change the order? Do you have different resorts that you like? Comment those down below because I definitely want to check out as many different resorts as I can. I love going to new places and seeing it all. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you got some value out of it, and I hope you have a fantastic snowboard or ski season this upcoming season, filled with tons of snow and tons of powder days. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the mountain.
You! I knew it!